talk about a practice point and some footwork. I've taken a golf club that I'm able to put a ball on. I use this often with my students to kind of show path of the ball. You probably saw this in another video where I talked about befores and afters. I've slipped it into my cone so that I can stand it upright. So I have it positioned at about a good ball strike zone, and I've got my dot on there so I can also practice visualizing the inside side of the ball. Let me grab my racket. So how I use this, well, the ball is at a good striking height, and my dot for the inside side of the ball visualization. My students can line up behind the ball where they can't see that dot, and as they move to the side, they're getting an idea of that's where their eyes should be looking as the ball's coming towards them. And it's a distance that the ball is away from them. They're not crowded, they're not getting jammed. But I use this as a demonstration, and I suggest them to do this at home. Go ahead and find something they can put a tennis ball up on. And as they approach it, right now, they're looking at the inside side of the ball and taking practice swings without making contact with the ball, and finding that you're hitting in that upper portion of the racket, just to continue to emphasize getting your racket further out rather than finding yourself too close to the ball to make contact. I find, even for myself, the upper third of the racket generally is where I like to make contact with the ball. I do change the position on my racket for different shots. That's a little advanced and down the line, but in general, that upper third, that line, is where I like to make contact with the ball. So I'll tell my students as they're approaching over to find that they consistently get to that point where the racket is always in the same place as they take that practice swing. I'm the same distance away. Now, we can start using that tool to start looking at how am I going to move there appropriately. Remember, I want to land on my right leg before I make that contact with the ball. And that's how we're going to get there. So first, I just tell my students to go there and stop with the right leg however that they want before they swing, and make sure that they are right foot in a position where it's stopped. There's still a distance. And then we add one more thing. We're going to start with the left leg to cross over, right leg. We're going to stop there at the ball. Let's do that again. Left leg, right leg, there I am. I'll break it up into, as you've seen in my other videos, the two back swings. Left leg crosses over, my racket's out already. It's like a pre-back swing. Right leg lands, back swing, forward swing into the ball. Let's do that again. Left, right, forward into the ball. Left, right, forward into the ball. The next step would be the split step. So if you're paying attention, I'm teaching my students this process backwards. Some coaches go right to the split step and then move forward from there. Well, if we're not getting to the ball and getting the right leg in the right position, it's very hard to find that you are jamming yourself or you're overrunning the ball. So I like just to have them start by just learning to get there any way that they can, where they're landing on the right leg and the ball is always in the same distance away from them wherever they're coming from. They can come from quite far, but they're learning to stop with that right leg, and the racket is always that same distance to the ball. Once we've got that, then we're going to move forward with a left leg over to the right. If I'm a right-handed player to begin with, right leg step after, that's going to put me in the right position. Let's look at that again. The left leg crosses over, right leg, There I am on the ball, consistent every time. Once we've got that down, then we can do the split step. The split step is a motion that we use to generate an energy so I can react in any direction that I want to go. If I split step, that loading in my legs is what's helping me go whichever direction is necessary before the ball gets to me. It may happen just as the player on the other side is striking the ball. I don't know where it's going, but this is my ready loading. So I'm gonna split step, I'm going to my forehand, split step, left leg over, right leg. Split step, right leg is last. Right leg is where I'm landing. Split step, left leg, right leg. And again, split step, left leg, right leg. The left leg is the one crossing over at the beginning. Split step, left leg, right leg. What happened if I just went out with the right leg first? Split step, right leg, left leg. Well, now I'm on the wrong leg loaded. I'm gonna put the right leg out, but now I'm well beyond and I'm getting jammed. The first step after the split step is a crossover step. If I have to go further to it, I don't have to cross over any further, but I do a side step, and you can watch it here. Now I'm advancing my students further from the ball. Split step, left leg goes over, side step. Now I'm landing on that right leg before I swing. If I did it in full motion, boom, and then I'm coming across and striking that ball. Split step, crossover, side step, hit. That would be the most advanced. There are many different ways that I can approach the ball with little stutter steps as well. That's going to be something else we'll work on, but this in particular, many different ways. Let's back up and look at that. How many ways can I strike my forehand? Open stance, closed stance, forward weight shift. Maybe I'm going out to the side and I'm hitting and I'm coming forward and through. Look at the different forehand paths that I can take with my legs, different position, but we've got to start somewhere. We have to start at the beginning somewhere. And the first thing that we need to do is just get the weight on the right leg, the racket side leg before I swing. Right leg before I hit. Again, let's look at the different types of swings with that. So split step, continental, racket is down. It's coming flat through the ball. Eastern, split step, racket is a little higher. I'm landing on my right leg before I step in and make contact. Semi-Western, the racket is up above as I cross step, down, ulnar deviation, and through. 3 different forehands for 3 different types of grips. What dictates, regardless of what grip I'm using, what stance I'm going to use for a ball that's coming at me? The ball. The ball dictates it. If it's a short ball and I'm coming in, I'm going to shift my weight forward on my left leg as I swing. If it's way out and I'm moving a long way to get there, open stance so that I'm turning and I've got my weight back on my left as I recover back into the court. If the ball is closer to me, more at me, and I'm going to drive it, I can step in forward, a little more closed stance, opening at the end. And that brings me to one that I forgot. How about a ball that I need to take the pace off of and I'm jammed? Well, I'm going to step back with the left leg. Let's look at that. Split step, right leg, left leg, and I'm going to step back with the left leg as I hit. I'm waiting on the right, step back. Where would I use that? Well, if I step into the ball, I'm driving it. Maybe I don't want to drive it. Maybe I want to roll it over the net on a nice angle shot. I don't want to put anything on it. But as I step back, or how about a top spin lob? step back as I roll that ball forward. That takes the drive out of it, but it allows me to get under the ball, to spin that ball high, land it deep in the court, land it cross court. So let's go back and look at that again from the beginning. If you've got it, you've got it. Stay with me if you want to look at this again. So any direction that my students can get to this ball, as long as they stop on their right leg and their swing path contacts the ball in the same place on the racket. Any way they can get there. Then we advance to cross over the left leg, right leg plants. Racket is in the same place. Later on we advance, split step, left leg, right leg, I'm there. So get yourself a ball that you can suspend on a pole or something. You can do this in the house, put it between cushions in the couch, and take some practice swings. Find that you can land on that right leg for your forehand and make consistent contact. You're not overrunning the ball, you're not short and missing it, or you're reaching. It should become eventually very automatic just to get there and find that you're in that same spot. Now somebody's gonna say, well, what about small shuffle steps? Yes, different way. Maybe I'm going along different. I've got to slow myself down before I get there. But ultimately, what do I do at the end? My right leg is the plant before I step into the ball. Why? We're avoiding these people that are planting with the left leg and coming through and coming across their body. The hips are part of the drive, and if you're planted on that left leg, it isn't going to happen. You may have seen where players step forward and come around. But that's a little different than planting with the left and coming across. We want to plant with the right foot if you're right-handed on that ball. Right and through. A little extra, let's talk about befores and afters. If this ball, you saw this in the other video, I'm crossing over, my path of my racket is for the most part across and straight through. If it's an after the peak and it's falling, I'm using a low to high. And we can add something in there as well. If I want to lower myself, I widen my stance. I'm going to get really low with my legs. I'm playing in a low room, but I don't want to bend over with my torso. I want to be upright. So I'm coming up on my tippy toes to push my body up into that ball as I'm striking it low to high. I'm also doing that as I'm coming into a ball that I'm striking across, because I want to be slightly below the ball, and then I want to come out into it. So here's some practice points for you. Find something that you can suspend a tennis ball on. Look at the inside side of the ball. This is the point that your eyes are looking at when the ball is traveling towards you. And find that you can approach that ball from many, many distances, and that you're landing on that right leg, and that as you're taking that practice swing, you are consistently hitting it in the same spot of your racket. All right, I hope that helps. Have a good morning, guys. Take care.